The training session aimed to equip selected male and female officers with the knowledge and skills necessary to promote women's participation in leadership roles and to ensure that gender considerations are integrated into decision-making processes at all levels. Participants from various security institutions across the country gathered to deepen their understanding of promoting gender equality, addressing sexual and gender-based violence, and fostering inclusive, effective, and accountable security institutions in the Gambia. Mandisa Masulugo, the UNDP resident representative in the Gambia, emphasized the importance of closing gender gaps in security institutions by engaging men as advocates of change to drive meaningful and sustainable progress toward gender equality.
Training marks an important milestone in our collective efforts to build a professional, accountable, and gender-responsive security sector, one that protects all citizens and upholds the principles of human rights, equality, and justice. Training and engaging male gender champions is therefore not symbolic. It is a practical mechanism to shift institutional culture, fostering positive behavioral change and promoting allyship as a vital component of sustainable and inclusive security sector reform. Distinguished participants, sustainable peace and security cannot be achieved without gender equality.
This initiative is part of a 3-year project funded by the Peace Building Fund titled Sustaining the Gambia's Peaceful Transition by Supporting the Security Sector Reform Strategy. During the session, participants explored topics including gender and security, review new policies, identify barriers affecting women in the security sector, and learn strategies to address gender-based violence, sexual harassment, exploitation, and abuse. They also developed practical institutional action plans to implement these lessons.
When institutions reflect the diversity and dignity of the people they serve, they become more effective, more legitimate, and more trusted. When women and men work together, the security sector becomes better at preventing harm, responding to crises, and protecting human rights. Men are the majority of personnel and decision makers across security institutions in this country. Their understanding, visible support, and active participation are therefore essential to advancing gender equality and driving sustainable change.
Sia Kamarong, a principal gender officer at the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, highlighted that achieving gender equality requires the active involvement of men and boys. He noted that gender transformation is a societal responsibility, not solely a woman's issue. Men serve as essential allies and change agents, especially within institutions like the security services, where authority and influence shape societal norms.
It promotes respect, integrity, accountability, and shared responsibility. It encourages men to challenge harmful stereotypes, reject violence, and lead by example. In the security sector, these principles are critical. Officers who embrace gender equality and respect the rights of all citizens enhance trust, professionalism, and effectiveness. They also strengthen community relations and set the tone for a safer and more equitable society. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the government of the Gambia, under the able leadership of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Adama Barrow, has made significant progress in promoting gender equality and male engagement.
Colonel Omar Bojang, the Deputy National Security Advisor, stated that this capacity building initiative is part of the government's commitment to reform the security sector through an inclusive, human-centered approach that upholds the rule of law, fosters public trust and confidence, and respects human rights to promote cohesion, peace, and development.
This training is not taking place in isolation. It is part of our broader national efforts to reform the security sector and to advance an inclusive, civilian control and human-centered approach to security that upholds the rule of law, respect for human rights, and reflects the aspiration of the Gambian people for peace, justice, and inclusive development. After decades of authoritarian rule that prioritized state security over citizen welfare, the government of the Gambia, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, Mr. Adama Barrow, has committed to building a human-centered, civilian-led security sector that protects citizens, upholds human rights, and advances inclusivity and accountability.
The ongoing security sector reform process places strong emphasis on gender mainstreaming. The strategy identifies gender as a core pillar of institutional reform, and the National Security Council Act mandates women's representation in regional security sector reform coordination committees, underscoring the significance of this training program.
Framework. Training male gender champions becomes essential as they play a critical role in transforming institutional culture, promoting collaboration, and ensuring that gender equality is meaningfully integrated into security, coordination, and decision-making processes across the country. The Office of National Security remains fully committed to advancing gender mainstreaming and safeguarding women personnel across all security institutions. This commitment is reflected in the recent development of the generic gender mainstreaming policy and the generic sexual harassment, exploitation, and abuse policy for security institutions in the Gambia, which establishes clear standards for promoting gender equality and ensuring that women in the security institutions are protected from misconduct and abuse.
Following the training, participants are expected to serve as agents of change by challenging discriminatory norms, promoting women's leadership participation, and actively speaking out against all forms of sexual and gender-based violence within and beyond their respective institutions. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News.